G'day guys, Radio Mike here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Oh, I hit 1,000 subscribers. It has been a long haul. I genuinely really appreciate it if you've checked out my channel, subscribed to my channel, keep the subscribes coming. If you haven't subscribed already, I do a bunch of pop culture videos, movies, video games, TV, music, all pop culture stuff. Plus I do a bunch of podcasts on here as well. So I'm really grateful for everyone who has subscribed and checked out some of my vids, some of which are on screen now. Please go and check them out. Still trying to hit the watch time for monetization. So if you could watch a bunch of my longer videos, that would be so awesome. But today I want to do a review of the brand new Disney animation film, Raya and the Last Dragon, which dropped in cinemas and on Disney Plus through the Premiere Access thing a few nights ago, and I was lucky enough to check it out, and I was really happy with it. So I'm going to chat about my thoughts overall on this movie now. So I guess my main thoughts overall with where Disney is that the last few years, the last decade actually would probably be more precise, or even more, I feel like Disney has really started to overtake Pixar in the creativity of their stories and films overall. Pixar, particularly, when they started with Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., A Bug's Life, all of those, they had a really, really great run of just being some of the best movies ever made. But then sort of towards the end of the noughties decade and, into the last decade, they've been a lot more shaky. I haven't enjoyed Pixar films as much as I once did. Whereas the Disney films I have really liked a lot more. I guess that's just sort of where I'm sitting with it now. I feel like, ironically, Disney is the new Pixar in terms of making really good quality animated films for families. And I guess the four from Disney that come to mind of recent times for me personally, well, the three I suppose, are Tangled, which may have come out in like 2008. I could be wrong, it could have been later than that. Tangled, Frozen, and Moana, and now Raya and the Last Dragon, because I feel like all of these films are very, very similar in some ways, particularly the sense that they are all films that have a strong female lead, and they are all films that are kind of grounded in a particular part of the world or a particular culture. Moana is like Pacific Islander based, and then obviously Raya and the Last Dragon is East Asian based in its themes, and I think it's a really cool way for Disney to make films that are culturally diverse, tell some really amazing stories, and just feature some really great characters, sometimes based on real stories, such as Frozen and Tangled, but sometimes based on original stories. Like, I don't know if Raya or Moana are based on existing stories. I'm sure parts of them are, but I'm not as confident about saying that. And I feel like these are four really good movies. Personally, the way I would rank them is Tangled and Moana somewhere at the top there, and then Frozen quite far under. I think Frozen is very overrated, and it is like a franchise, and it was really milked for what it was. Like, the songs I didn't even think were that good. Let It Go is a great song, but Frozen overall I think is very overrated, but still a good movie. But I always thought Tangled was great, and when I saw Moana, I just thought it was such an incredible film. Amazing story, amazing music, amazing visuals, great characters, like, awesome film. So I was really excited to see Raya and the Last Dragon, and hopefully see if it was on par with these films and what it was. And yeah, I've been looking forward to it for a while. As I said, it's East Asian influenced, and I really enjoyed that. The movie has a really cool story. It is not a musical, which actually surprised me a fair bit, because all of those three aforementioned films are musicals and have some really good songs. Raya, interesting in that it didn't go for a musical choice. In fact, it was much more of like an action-adventure type story. I definitely sit Raya and the Last Dragon 3rd out of 4 in terms of Tangled, Moana, Raya, and Frozen. 3rd out of 4, Frozen last, Tangled and Moana somewhere at the top there for me. It is a really fun movie, and I think the best part about Raya and the Last Dragon is this amazing world building. Like, there's all these different factions on the dragon-shaped river. They're all named after parts of the dragon. There's all this mythos and legend around the dragons and what happened with them, and I really like that each of the different factions has a distinct look based on a distinct culture, and they have these, like, really distinct characteristics and ways that they dress, and this really established world that I would love to see more of. It actually really reminded me a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender, just with like the different nations, like the Fire Nation, Water Nation, you know, the different powers or like ways that they dress, the way that they're based on different cultures, the same way as Last Airbender sort of was with all their nations. It really reminded me of that vibe, and of course the Asian influence in it as well. For example, I believe it's the Spine Nation, which are kind of like the villain nation in this. They have these big cats that they ride on like horses, like these big, almost like tigers or leopards, but they're like really big, muscular cats that they ride on, which I thought was super cool. Whereas the Heart Nation, which is what Raya is part of, she has these like these giant armadillos that roll for her, and she rides that like a horse. And I don't know, it felt like such an established world that didn't need to be so established for the fact that it was a Disney film. Like, they didn't have to put so much thought and detail into all of these different worlds. And it's particularly the Heart Nation and the Spine Nation that have the most detail. But it really felt distinct. It really felt like these were different tribes or different cultures that grew differently and did different things based on where they were or what they had access to and stuff. And yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of it, the world building. It's quite an action-packed film. It's like quest-based. They're going out to recover the different pieces of the dragon gem. When put together, will revive all the dragons. And Raya, of course, finds the last dragon, whose name escapes me at the moment. And I thought the dragon character was pretty fun. Definitely, like, you know, you expect, it's sort of like Mushu from Mulan. You expect this big, mighty dragon, but she's sort of like this comic relief character who does all these crazy things, but still a very enjoyable character. I really liked the relationship between Raya and the dragon and how they navigate everything. That was really fun. As well as some just incredible animation here. Like, Disney animation is just producing some of the most gorgeous cinematography and amazing landscapes and designs in their films. And seeing the way the dragon flies through the sky and what she does is she almost creates a surface beneath her feet, which appears, and she just jumps and maneuvers on those surfaces to kind of make it look like she's flying. And I really thought that looked incredible. It's quite a long film, and it kind of felt long for a Disney film. Not to say it's like that long, it's under 2 hours, but I think it was closer to 2 hours than 90 minutes, whereas I usually see these films more as like a 90-minute kind of thing. Not to say that the length of it was bad, but I guess it kind of did feel a little bit like it was dragging towards the end. I feel like the message of this movie was a really good one as well, which is like, put aside your differences and join together to make the world a better place, I suppose, which is sort of what has to happen towards the end with when one person from each faction kind of joins Raya's gang and they all kind of group together to save the world and bring back all the dragons. I would really be interested in seeing more from this world in general. Like, it just felt like such a fun world to be in. It's a beautiful world to explore, all the different landscapes and areas of this world that you get to see, and the backstory and mythos, as I said, is just really, really engrossing. Like, you feel really a part of this world almost immediately as it starts, and you're taken through a lot of the history of the world, and I think that's kind of why it feels so real. Like, you start years and years in the past, then you come into Raya being a child, and then you go, I think, 6 years after that, where she's now an adult and sets out on this adventure where everyone is turned to stone by the dragon, by the antagonistic force that's like this weird smoggy kind of thing that freezes everyone. I don't know. This is kind of a rambling little review that's just sort of my stream of consciousness on this film. But overall, mad Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes on this. Got some really cool vibes. Love the East Asian influence. Love the world building. Love the characters. Love the animation. Really good film. Definitely see this film when you can. I don't know when it's going to be like free as part of Disney Plus subscription, but if you can get to the cinemas and see it, really, really fun. Makes me eager to see what Disney has in store for us next. I guess what I said about Pixar at the top, I don't think any of their films have been particularly bad. In fact, I loved Coco. I think that's one of my favorite animated films of the past few years. But yeah, I just think the Disney ones seem to stand out a bit more in my head as of recently. But those are my thoughts on Raya and the Last Dragon as of now. It might change, but I really enjoyed it. Feel free to check out my film vlog, What I Watched, which comes out at the end of every month, which recaps every movie I watched in a month. There's editions for January and February on my channel now. You can also check out some of my podcasts on my channel. All of them go up in full here. So please go check out some of my other videos, and I will chat to you soon. My name's been Radio Mike, and this has been The Inside of My Mind. Catch you later.
But I went to run my hand through your hair and I noticed you were attached to string. You were a puppet this whole time, you were attached to string.